Hi, everybody. I am Jessica Koch with Jessica Koch Consulting, and this is another Profound Professionals interview series. Profound Professionals was founded in 2018. We started it because we really wanted to feature speakers, authors, coaches, industry leaders who are doing amazing work throughout the globe, as well as touching their community or the world in a greater way. Today, it is my honor and privilege to have Bruce Barnes. He has overcome some serious health challenges and even was near death several times. He is a wellness and mindset expert and the founder of Actualize Your Full Potential. I absolutely love the name of that business. Welcome, Bruce. Hi, how are you?
Hi, thanks for having me. I'm doing great.
I am so happy to have you. So before you founded this amazing mindset organization to help people actualize their full potential, I really love that name. Uh, where are you from? What was your starting? I mean, let's just have a little bit of the journey and the story of what brought you here, where you are now.
Well, I was born and raised in the Seattle, Washington area.
Ah,
And
beautiful there. Did you ride the ferries a lot?
we, more so when I was a kid and
Yeah.
stuff. That was one of the things. We'd jump in the car and just go whichever direction the traffic wasn't going. We'd go the other direction.
I lived in California as a child, and actually was there when Mount St. Helens blew in
No,
California, but I never actually went to Seattle. My big experience with it is Grey's Anatomy and watching that
yeah,
show.
yeah. I know it's kind of fun little trivia on that. So I had some friends come down from Canada last summer, and they're big Grays fans and that.
Yeah,
So I took them on a little back, behind the scenes tour type of thing.
right.
Um, so anyway, yeah, it's kind of fun. But yeah,
So how long are you still there now? Are you in Seattle now?
so I technically am halfway between Seattle and Tacoma and that. So I jokingly say I'm the other native because it seems like there's only a couple of us that are really born here.
Right. People migrate there for, I guess, different reasons.
Yeah, my folks are originally from Wisconsin, so they moved out here because my dad was got a job for Boeing, in the actually in the manufacturing facility for the
Sure.
airplanes and stuff that he was working there. But so that's why they moved out here, and so I got tons of relatives back in Wisconsin and Minnesota.
Right, right. All right. So you started your growth there. You're still relatively close to there. Where did you go with your journey from there?
Well, just kind of like what you mentioned at the beginning, this is that as a teenager, I started having some serious health issues and that, and I'd always been, pretty shy person in that in school and that, and I um, yeah, tended to put a lot of pressure on myself as far as doing well in school and that. I didn't get it from my folks or anything like that. It's like, oh, gee, if I don't do well, my friends won't like me or something like that. But
Wow.
so then where we were living, we were next door to a chemical trucking outfit.
Oh,
So we suspect that because they would put chemicals on the ground to control the dust. And
right.
of course, that was running off onto our driveway. And of
Um,
course, I'm riding my bike and whatnot, you know,
mhm.
not aware of what the heck is really in it. So we suspect it was probably because I was exposed to that and had a lot of intestinal issues that
Mhm.
ultimately, many years later, we thought it was ulcerative colitis, but it was ultimately re-diagnosed as Crohn's disease.
Mhm.
And no, history of that in the family or whatever. But anyway, so that really, putting the pressure on myself to do well in school um, aggravated it. So shortly after I got my driver's license is when everything went down down the tube.
Oh. And so I guess mindset was a big part of you dealing with this challenge.
Well, yes, I mean, and I'd really always been fairly positive, um, but I also knew at that point that I knew the uh, benefits of staying positive and having that positive energy and that in my, with my health. So I always try and stay as positive as possible. Obviously, there, no matter how good you think you are at staying positive, everybody's got some down time. And it's like, you sulk and that, but I just didn't unpack and live there.
So you went through a really rough patch as you got your driver's license. When did you kind of turn to your recovery and things start to look up and, venture into your first, further education or work experiences, or where do we go from here?
Yeah. So like I said, after getting my driver's license, that was 10th grade.
Mm-hmm.
And I was physically in and out of the hospital for half the school year.
Mm-hmm.
So the doctors flat out told my folks, like, hey, his body's been through a lot. Don't even put him back in school for junior year and go somewhere warm. So we went down to Southern California where my dad's brother and his wife would winter. And unfortunately, I wound up getting staph and parasite infection and wound up in isolation for 5 weeks down there, almost dying down there as well. And so we got well enough to travel, came back up to Seattle and had another relapse. And so the doctor's like, let's just do the surgery. So we did the surgery, and the day after surgery, they got me out of bed to weigh me, and I weighed 65 pounds.
Oh my gosh.
5'10", 65 pounds. It was literally skin and bones.
Gosh.
And but hey,
5'10", you don't know you're that tall when you were sitting down in an interview. This is one tall guy.
I'm about a half-inch shorter now, though. but anyway, so that was really the turning point as far as improving my health, at least for several years, and then everything started flaring up on different things. But that's also not only mindset, but also help get me focused as far as, my health, and how important the health is.
Yeah. I mean, without it, you don't have anything, right?
No, this is so like I mentioned, got re-diagnosed as Crohn's disease because in 85, I had a hole in my intestine and had to do emergency surgery and that's when they re-diagnosed me. Well, a couple of years later, had another hole in the intestine. Said, okay, well, another surgery. Let's just, a week in the hospital or whatever, another week recovery or whatever. And well, the Crohn's was so active that every time they do surgery, another hole would form.
Like Swiss cheese in there.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Well, the thing, the kind of the running joke was the first surgery they were going to try was on Friday the 13th of February.
Well, that was good planning.
That's like, gee, okay, another hole formed. So they said, well, let's let everything rest and try it again next month. So staying in the hospital. So again, Friday the 13th of March, they tried again.
And scheduling this.
Had the same problem. It's like, are you guys purposely picking Friday the 13th? But
not that we're superstitious or anything like that.
No, it's like, let's just not push our luck here,
Right?
But all the different complications, it actually turned into almost a year in the hospital and almost dying a couple times while I was there. But at any rate, that stay is actually when I realized how important our mindset is, because at one point I started going into a coma where the first part was I couldn't move. And then, a couple days later or whatnot, I can't talk. And a couple days later, I can't open my eyes.
That must have been something to be trapped in your body, to be able to hear and see things around, but not be able to move or speak.
Yeah. And so then when I can't open my eyes, I'm fully conscious, but there's no way for me to respond or anything.
Oh, you must have been screaming inside there.
Yeah, I was praying, okay, God, either take me or heal me. Don't leave me as a vegetable like this. But one of the key things, just before I started going into a coma, on the hospital TV channel that they had a special that was Dr. Bernie Siegel. He wrote the book Love, Medicine, and Miracles. And he was an oncologist. And one of the things he would do is help his patients in, having them visualize their body, killing off the cancer cells. So my folks had gotten the book, but I hadn't read that book yet. But I mean, he was describing what was in the book and just the power of visualization, and that they described one man, like he told the patient, I want you to visualize your body killing off the cancer cells. This is, well, I can't do that because I'm a Puritan. I can't kill anything. It's like, okay, well.
Sorry. I don't mean to laugh at anyone's belief.
Yeah.
All full respect for all the Puritans out there. I just, okay.
So it says, well, how about visualizing your body gathering up the cancer cells and throwing them out of the body? So I can do that. Well, he got well much faster than other patients that weren't visualizing. So a couple other examples, there was one patient that was in the hospital and it was right by the nurse's station. So the nurse saw the doctor go into the patient's room and then leave. So the nurse goes in there and the patient's really in a great mood and happy. It's, oh, wow, doctor must have had really good news. Yeah, he told me my heart is as healthy as a horse. Says, well, that's not what the doctor told her. Says he told her that she had gallop rhythm of the heart, but she didn't understand what that meant. But because she thought it was good, she got better and left the hospital. Right. Another patient on the opposite side, he was in there for some minor procedure, just going to be there overnight. Doctor comes in, lousy mood, had the chart there. Oh, I see by the chart here, says you're not going to be with us much longer, meaning he was going to get discharged tomorrow or whatever. The patient took that as a bad thing. He died that night.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So, I mean,
so you're listening to this special while you're in the hospital. And so I guess you made a decision at that point.
Yeah.
All these stories. And
Yep.
So what was your decision?
Well, it says I knew whatever was happening to me was attacking my liver. And I thought, okay, I'm going to start visualizing my body, filtering out and cleansing my liver. And that's about the time I started going into this coma. And so that's the other thing also that just really anchored the fact that you don't say anything negative around someone that's in a coma because you don't know if they can hear you or not.
Hear you, yeah.
And I could hear everything that was going on just before I went into the coma. But I woke up and opened my eyes, and I'd been there for obviously several months by then. And
how many months were you in the coma?
Well, no, it was after I woke up, the nurse told me, he says, well, gee, you were in a coma for almost a week and renal shutdown for, about 4 or 5 days. And I was like, what? And I said, well, we didn't pull you out of the coma. So did you do something? And I said, well, I've been visualizing my body filtering my liver. And that says, well, whatever you're doing, keep doing it. So, any rate, I ultimately got better, released, and that we figured out what was going on and had the final surgery. But that's what it's like. I realized just,
there's
wow,
something to this mind stuff. Yeah. There's something going on here with that. And so how old were you at that point?
Let's see.
Roughly.
I was like 29.
So what were you doing? At this point, did you begin a career? Did you begin your education in college? Where did you go from here?
Well, out of the when I first had health issues and that, so I didn't finish high school. I just got my GED.
Right. Of course.
And I went to a vocational school and for a couple of years to learn computer programming.
Oh, very good.
When I was in the 10th grade, I had a couple classes that I was really interested in. We had one that was an introduction to computer programming, and the other one was electronics.
Okay.
So I thought, okay, those are the two areas that I'm kind of interested in. So this is how I made my career decision. I closed my eyes and I visualized myself doing things in each of those fields. So the only thing I could visualize myself doing with electronics is repairing TV sets, those monster TV sets that weigh a ton, like
From back in the day.
yeah, or computer programmers sitting at the computer typing. It's like computer programming looks good to me. So
Right.
37 years, I mean, at Boeing as a computer programmer, web
Oh, good. So
developer.
you kind of followed in your father's footsteps on some
Yeah,
level.
so
Very
it
nice.
was fun, and that's. I mean, I'm really old. I always tell everybody, says I'm older than the internet. I mean, it was before the internet and before email.
So, what happened? What flipped the switch in your world where you said, okay, I've been doing this career for all this time, and now I'm going to shift and step off and do one of the bravest things out there. The most courageous souls are entrepreneurs and start your own business. What was the switch?
Well, I'd always had some side business of, going in that. This is like in the 80s. I had video camera, VHS,
Mm-hmm.
video camera and that. And one of my dad's friends started doing a mobile video recording business, and
Mm-hmm.
he was doing weddings. It's like, oh, that sounds interesting. He says, any tips? Yeah, you just start doing it. So I start some friends and
That's
family
how
and
most
that.
things
So
get started. Just start doing it.
so I did that for several years in the 80s, and then also involved in some direct selling
Mm-hmm.
companies and that, in which, because of my health, I was more intrigued with the health and wellness
Mm-hmm.
area. And so then in 2015, Boeing offered an early retirement voluntary layoff opportunity.
Oh, so it made
I was
your
like,
decision a little easier.
okay, I'll take it. So I figured, well, this is a good time to jump in and focus on my own businesses and get those going. And so initially I had a business coach that said, well, with all your computer skills, why don't you do some consulting and that for small businesses? So I started down that path, and I just wasn't really motivated. So I took a step back and it's like, okay, well, what's going on?
Mm-hmm.
Well, gee, I did that for 37 years. So I'm more intrigued with mindset and health and wellness and whatnot. So, went down that path, and just, before about that time is when I was introduced to this platform that has the positive mindset tool.
Oh, good.
And I had, health and wellness products, but I was wanting to, my tagline, Actualize Your Full Potential, was my tagline for Bonds Unlimited. But
Mm-hmm.
I want to kind of spin that off as a personal development, platform, something. And that's when I was introduced to this amazing positive mindset tool. And this is perfect. So I had, we call them a custom session made by that same name. And it's just like, okay, this is great. This is a good kind of starting point.
So when a customer comes to work with you, what are the different ways that they can work with you? Individual, corporate, group coaching programs, one-on-one consulting. How would they experience some transformation and growth with you? And what are the best ways your customers work with you?
Well, I do, along my journey and stuff, I realized that I had a lot of intuitive,
Mm-hmm.
know-how and stuff of just picking up on
Connection.
different things. So
Yeah.
I'm an intuitive life coach. So I incorporate the positive mindset resources with that.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things I do one-on-one or group coaching. We also have the ability to have what I refer to as having a session for any coaches, authors, speakers, that
Sure.
want another platform for their message to get out there. Well, they also can do that for companies.
Oh.
So they can have something created specific for their employees to use to
Nice.
kind of anchor their product or their company message in that. But So I kind of, with the health and wellness products that I have and the life coaching and
Mhm.
mindset tool and that, I got the body and mind,
Right. We got to have
combination going.
the full picture. We got to cover it all.
I mean, it really, that's the other thing through all the years now, this is in kind of studying all this stuff, because I've been through a lot of different personal development training courses and workshops and that. And I realized just how important the mindset is,
Mhm.
because it physically, can affect you.
Yeah.
If you're, it's that positive, negative energy, and that says you got to stay as positive as possible. And the illness really thrives on negative energy.
Sure.
So
That and sugar.
yeah, love my sugar, but but, uh, but the different combination, I would like to do like I refer to it as discovery call with someone on
And
nowadays.
they can book a free discovery call with you. So
Yeah,
that's probably their first action. We'll make
yeah,
sure all of the links to reach Bruce are available, and the links wherever you're watching this video interview. So whether it's in the description of the YouTube video, inside the LinkedIn article, on Facebook in the comments, there'll be some ways that you can schedule a meeting with Bruce and just have that first initial discovery call. So that's your first action
yeah,
with Bruce.
yeah,
Tell us is there anything else that you want to share with us about the business, or what they can do to work with you? We'll make sure all your websites and everything
yeah.
are available, but what else do you want to share about how you work
Well,
with
yes,
customers?
well, it's like on all of my websites and stuff, there is a way of booking that discovery call and that, and
Okay.
contacting me. But uh, it's it's just, I personalize it.
Yeah,
It really depends on what you're going through, what your goals are, and how I can best serve you and help you to actualize your full potential.
that's
And
right. That's right.
and one of the things I am uh, kind of working on putting together my book, my life story and my
Good.
life experiences and my lessons learned kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And I've been told for years, like, man, you need to put this into a book. You need to share your experience, and it's very encouraging and motivational. And because one of the main things is that every one of my every one of my surgeries, I got some kind of a divine message.
Oh, how beautiful. And I imagine that how powerful too, if you take them slowly to the exact meditation that you were going through in your mind as you were visualizing your body healing itself, one step at a time. I mean, you potentially, with this sharing this information, are going to save someone else's life, because just imagine if that person wasn't being interviewed on the TV in
Yeah.
your hospital room, right? I mean, essentially that person in some capacity saved your life, right?
Oh yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
so I hope you've written this author and told him the impact.
Well, but it was after I got out of the hospital, Dr. Bernie Siegel was on one of our local TV shows, and I called in,
Oh,
and,
good. You got to
and
tell him.
so I got to share that part of the, that special that he was doing. And
Oh,
that,
how fantastic for him.
yeah.
Because so often, and which is part of the beauty of it, when we throw our rock in the pond and we create those ripples, we don't always get to meet or hear how we have positively impacted another life or another soul out there and far beyond in those distant ripples. And
Oh
you were
yeah.
able to reach out and let him know that he had had an impact on you. How beautiful that is. So I am very excited for your book. And when he releases his book and it's available to you, we will make sure we go in and update all the data in these different videos. So we will have links for it. You have some other big things that you're about to launch in your business. What other things are you working on?
Well, I am getting ready to start a podcast
Yeah,
by the same name, Actualize Your Full Potential, and uh,
fabulous.
different little ideas and tips and everyday
Okay.
life on what you can do. And the other thing that is funny, you should mention ripples.
Yeah.
I have little project I'm working on that it's, be a web-based platform that I'm calling it Positive Impact Community.
Oh, nice.
And it's kind of based on something I was involved with a few years back with positive interactions, and that they had individual cards that were like thanking you for being kind or helpful or whatever that was. And it's kind of taking that, but I'm making one card so you can, because there it was just one thing on each card was a separate thing. So, well, sometimes they do multiple things. So I'm having one card that little check off what they helped you with, or
Right.
what you were thanking them for. So this positive impact community is kind of like a random acts of kindness, paying it forward type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm excited about that. And the kind of along that same lines, I always make a effort if I impressed with something that somebody did,
Mm-hmm.
I make the effort to say thank you. This is, I really appreciate that. And there was one time I was helping plan our high school, even though I didn't graduate for my high school class. I've participated in planning all of our reunions.
Oh, well, that's nice. It's a way for you to
So
tie back into touch. I mean, it's totally understandable based on your health and things. So you
yeah.
were working on the high school
But,
reunion.
yeah, at one of the restaurants where we're going to have the reunion at, this gal, she was the manager there, and just amazing stuff that she was really very helpful and accommodating and that. So I had one of those little cards, thank you for being so helpful. And I gave that to her, and she was just like, oh, you don't know how much this means to me. I've been having a rough week. And it's
People need to
really,
feel appreciated. It's
yeah.
very
Well, and you don't know what people are going through. And
no,
it's just,
we don't. It's
so,
wonderful. It's interesting you mentioned that because I have recently started doing gratitude spotlights, and they're video testimonials, and I'm featuring people. I jump on live on Facebook or wherever, and I do this video testimonial for someone who's provided service or something for me in the past, and just show some appreciation. The other thing I'm doing is called Hope Heroes. I've just begun to launch. I have a couple of Hope Heroes that we'll be recording. When I catch people doing something amazing to support the community based on what the world is going through right now, like making little gift bags for nurses at a hospital, or just different ways to help the people on the front lines and to make a difference in the world right now. And then collaboration celebration. So I'm also featuring and jumping on and talking about an amazing collaboration I have going on with a person and why I appreciate them and value them. And so just doing these different little, it only takes a few minutes, and they are, my one girlfriend, I did one for her, and she's a travel agent, and travel agents are really having it's a tough market for travel agents right now, let's just face it. And she had helped us with our Disney trip in New York and all of our just like dream vacations that we have coming up. And she's just fantastic. She's one of those people, like you said, go above and beyond. Well, I did one of my gratitude spotlight video testimonials for her. Immediately in the comments, she got a lead. Midnight, I didn't check it at midnight, but the next morning I saw at midnight, she had sent me a little message and said it had moved her to tears. She was so grateful. And then she already had a lead, right? So, because I didn't realize she had one. And that was like kind of the idea, is to generate this great energy. The frequency of gratitude and joy and love is such a high energy frequency, and so healing right now for the world. So I love that you're pulling together this positive space for people. What a wonderful website. And to get involved, they're just going to reach out to you. So set up a time in the links below so that you can see how you might participate in this amazing program that you're beginning. What else is going on? We'll also have his podcast in the information. Anything else going on in the business? It looks like your plate is full. You've got a book. We're launching a podcast. We got all these programs. We got this other new website going up for positive impacting.
Oh yeah, and that's with that positive impact community. I always say, says every interaction we have sends ripples out into the world affecting other people. And it's like,
Absolutely.
are your ripples having a positive or a negative impact?
Oh,
And
yeah.
so I love that. This is, yeah, it's kind of like, you want to, what you're doing is, I mean, you catch somebody doing something right,
Yes, right.
Yeah,
That's my hope heroes, and
yeah,
telling on how great they are.
yeah, yeah. So, and that it's, just, I'm enjoying, what I'm doing. And
That's
the
good.
thing is, I always have a lot of different ideas and that and different projects I want to work on. It's like,
I know we're like, I feel like I'm from the movie, what was it, Top Gun. I was always want to call it Maverick, but that was his nickname. The one part of the movie where they're, goodness gracious, great balls of fire. That's how I feel my projects are. I'm juggling lots of great balls of fire.
it's like the
Sparkler.
entertainment act spinning plates on the things like,
Yes, yes, like that. So you have some amazing growth and a wonderful projects coming. Really, no matter what part of your life, whether it's relationships or self or your health or your business growth, wherever you'd like to see some growth and improvement and really reaching out for your full potential, work with Bruce, book some time with him, see how a mindset and visualization and meditation can really powerfully change your situation and transform you to something new and beautiful and much more joyous. One of my favorite parts of my Profound Professional Interview series happens to be where we talk about the cause of the other ways outside of business in the world. And your business happens to be just one that really touches the world in such a profound way. But beyond that, there are some other things you've done for your community and really just to kind of make the world a better place from the goodness of your heart. Can you share a little bit with us about what you're up to? The hope is that we'll inspire someone with what you do, that they might do something in their community similar, or just get up and do something, right? Do something good.
yeah.
So share with us what cause or way are you participating in the community?
Well, one of my divine messages was, help the kids. And then another one is like, was shouting at me, help the kids. So I started getting involved with some of my church youth group.
Oh, nice.
And so let's see, a little over a year ago, I did the 5 love language,
Oh, nice.
little mini, um,
Workshop.
workshop with the high school
Yeah.
youth group and that. And they're still talking about that. So they'll
Oh,
come up
must
and
be time to do it again.
I really enjoy working with the different youth groups and that. And I'm planning on doing that more when everything kind of normalizes
Right,
again.
when everyone's allowed to do that again.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I really enjoyed that. So we're looking forward to different ways of helping and supporting the group. In fact, in the positive mindset tool, I had a new session created back in October called Unlimited Potential, and it's geared towards students to give them a little more encouragement and support. So
I love that.
yeah.
That's really beautiful. And so the message here is the youth need you. Be a mentor in some ways. Reach out to your church youth group or just the youth in the local schools. Make yourself available as a mentor. Help and inspire someone in some way. And maybe even set up a youth club Zoom until the world heals. Let's think outside of the box, make sure we're meeting the needs. This is definitely a need. I love it. It's beautiful. And so thank you for the service that you're doing in the community. So I think we are wrapping to a close. We want to thank you for showing your love and your appreciation with an action. So take an action, share, like, and comment on this video. Share with us some of the things you're doing in the world to make a difference, or reach out to Bruce and see if you can't work with him in some way, collaborate. Who knows what opportunities will open up when you just schedule that time together. Before we say goodbye, though, I do always like to ask if our guests could share one last thing. And typically it's a quote, a book, a system or a process or a ritual you've developed that's really made your life better, your business better, or transformed you in somehow. that you could share with us so that we might see if it also help us as much as it's helped you. What do you got for us, Bruce? Give us some treasure.
Well, just got a couple of things. Is the Jim Quick. He's amazing for helping people not only learn how to read faster, but also retain and, you know, remember what they read.
Last name actually Quick for real, or was that like a
Yeah.
stage name based on what he's doing?
It's Quick, KWIK and stuff. So he's got
Well, how convenient was that, right? That worked out good. He teaches you to read quick. His name is Quick. How can you not remember that? That worked out really well for him.
Yeah, but
he must be in alignment with his divine purpose.
But one of his quotes that I heard recently, I really love is it's not how smart you are, it's how you are smart.
Oh, nice.
Everybody's smart in something.
Sure. Yeah.
And so it's just identifying what your talent and skills are and actualizing it, putting it to work. That's why
those skill finders are so valuable. We just
yeah. And that's the other thing too, is for me, just focusing on what's important, because there's like I always like to remind people, this is most people will prioritize their schedule.
I'm guilty.
When they should be scheduling their priorities.
I love that.
So whatever is important to you, whether it's spending time with your family, relaxing, you know, put that on your calendar first, and then, you know, fill in things around that. But I mean, that's key in that. Obviously,
I agree. I can think of 5 things that are not on my calendar that should be: my next kayaking trip, sewing with my daughter, painting something, prayer group. Oh, maybe that was just 4. I'm doing better than I thought. 4th thing. Oh, maybe exercise. But, you know, I squeeze that in occasionally. It's just not on the schedule, like you say, more.
Well, I might suggest a date night with your hubby.
Oh, yeah, I do love him. He's pretty awesome, too. So, yeah, good suggestions. I love that one.
Yep.
I appreciate your time very much, Bruce. And so, everybody, until the next Profound Professionals, just remember, you are special, you are valuable, you are important, and do something to help fill up the world's Hope Cup today. So do something kind for someone. Thank you, everyone. And until next time, bye, Bruce. Thank you for being with us. All right. Bye, everybody.